Tonight on Global TV News Prime, Dangote refinery clash, stakeholders threaten nationwide strike. In business, economic reforms, restoring investor confidence, says Finance Minister. On the foreign scene, M23 rebels recapture town in eastern DRC as peace talks stall. And tonight in sports, 4 African countries on brink of World Cup qualification this week. Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe, reminding all our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Let's begin tonight by telling you Nigeria's fuel supply chain faces fresh attention as petroleum marketers threaten to halt their services nationwide beginning on Tuesday, September 9, 2025. The reaction is tied to an unresolved dispute with Dangote Refinery over its plan to deploy 4,000 compressed natural gas CNG trucks for direct production distribution. Business correspondent Kekelomo Okere has details. We'll bring you those details later. The Association of Resident Doctors Federal Capital Territory Chapter has commenced a 7-day warning strike. The association disclosed this in a communique issued by its president, Dr. George Ebong, and other executive members. The resident doctors described the Federal Capital Territory health system as a long-standing systemic failure requiring comprehensive and immediate reform. Despite the crucial role elections play in shaping Nigeria's democracy, many citizens still shy away from registering or casting their votes. This voter apathy raises concerns about accountability, representation, and the future of governance in the country. Our correspondent Kabir Hassan takes to the streets of Abuja, Nigeria's capital, to hear reasons some citizens are reluctant to either vote or register to cast their ballot.
The fear of injustice in voting has taken charge across Nigerian citizens' minds as the reason why majority of them neither register or obtain voters card or cast their votes during election. In every democracy, the power of people lies in their votes, but in Nigeria, voters' apathy remains a challenge, with millions of eligible citizens refusing to register or failing to cast their ballot during the elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned that refusing to vote not only weakens democracy, but also denies citizens the chance to influence decisions that affect their lives.
I want to vote, but you see, this voting is discouraging because what I vote will not really count. So this is not, we have been saying it, but the truth of the matter is that that's just the way they do it.
It's my civic responsibility for me to vote now. It's the right that I have to exercise to choose my leader. But unfortunately, our vote don't need to count these days.
Our vote doesn't count. Well, it's not what they will vote, that's what they will show, they will bring out.
The reason why people feel their vote is not being counted is because of our leaders. If our leaders will make it right, then everybody will vote.
Participation in election helps reduce rigging, improves accountability, and gives citizens the right demands better governance from those they elect. But many young Nigerians still believe in their vote does not count, pointing the flaws in the system. According to them, their votes do not count because when they vote, it's not what turns out as the result.
The reason that I vote because we need good leader, we need change, because there is problem in this nation.
The reason why we vote is to vote someone who is capable and competent for his constituency, and it's necessary for you to have a voter's card to make a vote count in every election.
So the confidence will start from the electoral body. They have to make us believe that our vote will count. It's when they make us believe that our vote will count, that is when the citizen will come out now and exercise their civic rights.
We all know what is going on because by the time they vote, for instance, in my polling unit, by the time they bring a certain figure that I know what each party scores, If at the national level they will announce another thing, I don't believe in what INEC say.
Voters' apathy remains one of Nigeria's biggest democratic challenges, while frustration with the system is real. Expert insists that refusing to vote only hands over power to others. The call remains for citizens, especially the youth, to take ownership of the democratic process. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
Away from election matters now, more than 6,400 candidates who sat for the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, are now under review for suspected malpractice. This follows the submission of a report by the board's Special Committee on Examination Infractions. Global Television's Priscilla Obasi reports from Abuja.
At the JAM headquarters in Buhari, Abuja, the chairman of the committee, Dr. Jake Epele, said examination malpractice in Nigeria has become highly organized, technology-driven, and culturally normalized. The report uncovered over 4,200 cases of fingerprint blending, 190 cases of AI-assisted image morphing, as well as fraud involving multiple national identity number registrations and false declarations. According to the committee, candidates are not acting alone. Some schools, parents, and CBT centers are complicit in sustaining malpractice.
It is with a deep sense of duty, humility, and commitment to the integrity of our nation's education system that I, on behalf of the Special Committee on Examination Infraction, stand before you today to present the report of our assignment.
The committee recommended tougher measures such as AI-powered monitoring, cancellation of fraudulent results, prosecution of offenders, and a nationwide Integrity First campaign. For under 18 offenders, the report advised rehabilitation and counseling.
This was no small task for the committee, composed of experts from academia, technology, security, civil society, and law.
JAMB Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede welcomed the report and assured that its findings will guide reform aimed at restoring credibility in the admissions process.
We are confident that the report we are receiving is thorough, evidence-based, uncompromising in its pursuit of the truth, and will be very useful to the development of education in this country.
With the latest revelations, the fight against malpractice intensifies. The real test may be whether students, schools, and parents are willing to embrace integrity as the only path to success. Priscilla Obasi, Global Television News, Abuja.
Education correspondent Priscilla Obasi, we appreciate your reporting tonight. Pedestrian bridges are meant to save lives, but in Abuja, many residents continue to risk theirs by crossing busy highways as against using them. Despite more than 15 pedestrian bridges across the city, poor planning, insecurity, and neglect have turned many of these structures into unsafe and underused facilities. In this special report, our correspondent Sadia Yakubu reports on the safety concerns and challenges facing pedestrian bridges in the nation's capital.
Not the same way. One day, the legacy, something must change.
Pedestrian bridges are often located far from bus stops or common crossing points. Residents prefer to dash across expressways, since walking to and from bridges is seen as time-consuming. Many bridges lack lighting and security, making them dangerous after dark. Some have become hotspots for criminal activities.
The use of pedestrian is for the ease and safety for the walker, people who normally cross the road, and the safety of accident and any other incident that may occur by the roadside.
Bridges are frequently taken over by street vendors, accumulating clutter that forces pedestrians to avoid them. Additional issues include vandalized lighting infrastructure and physical barricades.
So, some people that are eager to move in, and they are not used for climbing this barrier bridge, so which is not good. This is protecting our life and our property.
But I don't know, some people who are advising they should not be cross the road. But what the action that this government is trying, we appreciate it. So that is the reason why we are always advising people to be follow this flyover, because to avoid accident. People are dying every day.
In areas like Bega, Galadimawa, and other areas, residents who lacked a bridge near their destinations died attempting to cross. Many bridges are inaccessible to those using wheelchairs or cloth crutches due to staircases and lack of design consideration.
Pedestrian bridge is made for advantage of every citizen in every country. So why some people are not using it? Let me just start from there. Why they are not using it? Sometimes they feel that maybe from their working place, maybe they were tired. Climb that bridge is somehow for them. So they just prefer to just find a way and cross the road. And the second reason, maybe especially in the night, they do rob some people there in the night using some knife, all this shotgun on top of the bridge there. So that, especially in the night, that was the reason why many people are not using that pedestrian bridge. And again, why the pedestrian bridge is useful for everybody to be used is that it's because just to prevent accident.
Until pedestrian bridges in Abuja are made safer, more accessible and better integrated into the city's transport system, many residents will continue to put their lives at risk on the highways. For Global Television, I am Sadia Yakubu reporting.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says he has approved issuance of new statutory rights of occupancy and certificates of occupancy to 374 property owners across 15 streets in Abuja. The development comes after administration discovered that the affected allottees unilaterally converted the designated land use of their properties without official approval, thereby violating the terms and conditions of their existing rights of occupancy. Nigeria's security forces say sustained pressure is shrinking the space for terrorists, kidnappers, and criminal syndicates in what authorities now describe as one of the clearest signs yet that coordinated operations are making the country safer. This came to bear at the monthly joint security press briefing at the National Orientation Agency headquarters in Abuja. Anietie Patrick has details for us.
From military airstrikes in Zamfara that killed 30 terrorists to police crackdowns that rescued 141 kidnapped victims, August was a month of intense operations. Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Larry Issa Onilu, who delivered a report, urged citizens to engage in intelligence gathering to also aid the operations of the security operatives. He added that the Army carried out 261 missions nationwide, while 76 fighters, including women and children, surrendered. According to him, intelligence-led actions also broke up arms-straggling pipelines, leading to the arrest of suspected kidnapped kingpins and the rescue of a Taraba lecturer.
The Army executed 261 operations. Police made 1,950 arrests and rescued 141 victims. NDLEA seized 66,255.81 kilograms of narcotics and deployed 48 new vehicles.
Issa Onilu noted that the police dismantled 37 gangs, recovered firearms and explosives, and made nearly 2,000 arrests, while NDLEA seized more than 66,000 kilograms of narcotics and rehabilitated over 800 users and deployed 48 new vehicles to boost mobility. He further said anti-graft agencies are also making gains, as the EFCC alone secured 588 convictions and recovered more than 21 billion naira. At the borders, he said immigration intercepted 50 trafficking victims and blocked smugglers, while NAFDAC seized 17 containers of unsaved imports.
To the field. EFCC secured 588 convictions with over 0.06 billion naira recovered. NAFDAC says 17 containers of falsified and unsafe goods, and immigration strengthened border control with 10,803 visas approved, targeted deniers and trafficking victim interceptions were also recorded.
Officials say these successes reflect better intelligence sharing, stronger interagency collaboration, and more direct communication with the public to counter misinformation. Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Let's turn to other stories for you tonight. Unemployment in Nigeria remains a pressing national concern, affecting millions of citizens and threatening economic growth. Despite the resilience of self-employed Nigerians, the reality is that most jobs are still found in the informal sector with limited security and opportunities for advancement. Our correspondent Zarau Nasiru takes a closer look at the latest figures and what they reveal about the country's labor market.
According to the latest figures from the National Bureau of Statistics, unemployment and underemployment continue to weigh heavily on the nation's workforce, while some progress has been recorded in self-employment and small-scale ventures. The formal job market has remained tight. Nigerians interviewed by Global Television in Abuja stressed that government alone cannot tackle the crisis, insisting that private sector investment and job creation are equally essential.
Government cannot employ every youth. Are you getting? If government can employ, like, let's say 60% of the youth, it's okay. But I want the youth to be self-reliant. Read their course that when you come out, whether government white-collar job or not, you can be self-reliant.
I think, like, if the government can, bring up initiatives to support private businesses, maybe even come up with other different initiatives that can help unemployment. And yeah, basically I think it's just something that the government and the private sector can work hand in hand.
Nigerians warn that unless urgent reforms are made to stimulate industries, strengthen education and vocational training, and attract investment, the country may continue to face rising poverty and inequality.
Somebody is 70 and is still working, you cannot be effective and you want that person to deliver. Meanwhile, every year we have thousands of graduates coming out of school. So I think the government should put more measures to tackle those who are due for retirement. I think the federal government should put in strong measures to look at that particular aspect. If that aspect...
Well, the government can do more because they are the custodian of the Constitution. So there are so many policies that they can create which can benefit the youth. Definitely we have unemployment in this country, and this situation is catastrophic to our security.
If you employ people to work now, thief no go there. All this rubbish thing where people do, no go do now.
The findings of the youth report align with data released by the National Bureau of Statistics. According to the Bureau, youth unemployment and underemployment remain critical challenges, with millions trapped in informal and unstable jobs that offer little income security. Zahra Nasser, reporting for Global TV News.
As we make progress, we continue to cut down the unemployment numbers. Thank you so very much tonight, Zarau, for your reports. And this is Global Television, and tonight you're watching the live broadcast of News Prime with Uyi Agbofwebe. When the rest of the news returns shortly, M23 rebels recapture town in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo as big talks stall. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories for you. On the other side of this break, please do stay with us. The second part of tonight's news broadcast now returns with business. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says Nigeria's bold economic reforms are beginning to yield results, with debt levels becoming more sustainable and investor confidence returning. Edun said these are the 11th Annual Conference and General Assembly of the West African Association of Public Accounts Committees, organized by the House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee, tagged Strengthening Parliamentary Oversight of Public Debt. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick has details.
The Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, acknowledged that Nigeria, like many countries in West Africa, faces significant physical challenges, including elevated debt, service costs, constrained revenues, and rising demands for public spending. Edu noted that reforms under President Bola Tinubu, such as the removal of fuel subsidies, liberation of the exchange rate, and tax reforms, are improving investor confidence and expanding fiscal space. He maintained that reforms implemented are reversing negative trends and setting the country on a sustainable growth path.
The theme of this conference, strengthening parliamentary oversight of public debt, the role of finance and public accounts committees, is both apt and it is timely. The message is clear. We must act decisively to strengthen oversight, deepen fiscal discipline, and ensure that public resources deliver real and measurable value.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, warned that Nigeria's debt has hit a critical level of 149 trillion naira, urging stronger parliamentary oversight of borrowing. Represented by the House leader, Julius Nyubere, highlighted the structure of Africa's debt, noting that 35% is owned to Western private lenders, 39% to multilateral institutions like the IMF and World Bank, 13% to bilateral creditors, and 12% to China.
The need for a stronger oversight, transparent borrowing practices, and a collective resolve to ensure that tangible economic and social returns match.
Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts, Bamidele Salam, disclosed that the committee recovered over 200 billion naira in lost revenues for the federal government within the last 1 year. Salam said the recoveries were part of the series of reforms to strengthen fiscal accountability in Nigeria.
Effective parliamentary oversight, particularly through the work of the Public Account and Finance Committees, is therefore indispensable to ensuring that debt accumulation does not become a pathway to fiscal crisis or intergenerational problem.
The conference, hosted in Nigeria for the first time, brought together lawmakers from across West Africa to push for deeper parliamentary scrutiny in managing public debts. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Aniete Patrick, the National Assembly correspondent, following the money for us. Let's turn to the foreign scene now. In Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, the M23 rebel group has recaptured the town of Shoa in North Kivu province just a day after it briefly fell under control of the Congolese army and pro-government Wazalendo militia. Residents say the rebels launched a surprise offensive early, forcing the Wazalendo to retreat. The town of Shoa sits in Masisi territory, a region rich in gold, cobalt, and tantalum, as well as a hotbed of violence for over 3 months as rebels and government forces battle for control. Beyond Africa, Norwegians are heading to the polls in a closely watched election that could reshape the country's political future. As global uncertainties mount from tariff threats by United States President Donald Trump to the war in Ukraine, voters are weighing stability against calls for change. Mukhtar Qasim has details.
Norway votes in what analysts describe as one of its most unpredictable elections in recent years.
Polls give Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store's Labour Party a slight edge, with geopolitical uncertainty expected to bolster the case for continuity. In the campaign trail, however, domestic concerns have dominated rising living costs, healthcare, education, and a divisive debate over abolishing the wealth tax. The first projected results are expected shortly after polls close at 7 o'clock GMT. As a NATO member sharing a border with Russia, Norway remains sensitive to global tensions. Analysts say President Donald Trump's tariff threats and the ongoing war in Ukraine could sway voters to stick with an experienced government. Store, who served as foreign minister 2 decades ago, is seen as a steady hand, but the path ahead is complicated. Store's Labour Party may need backing from 4 other left-leaning groups to retain power. Divisions over oil drilling and ties with the European Union remains sharp within the bloc. Meanwhile, the far left is pushing for Norway's sovereignty wealth fund to divest from Israel, a move Labour resists. On the streets of Oslo, some voters are calling for continuity, while others want new impulses and fresh leadership. Former Prime Minister Erna Solberg's Conservatives face stiff competition from the populist Progress Party, whose leaders, Sylvie Lushong, has surged in polls but remains a polarizing figure. Mukhtar Kasem, reporting for Global Television News.
Let's turn to sports for you tonight. At least 4 African countries are close to qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. Morocco have already booked their spot thanks to a winning run in the qualifiers so far. They could be joined by Egypt, Tunisia, South Africa and Ivory Coast. South Africa are currently top of Group C, and amidst the threat of points deduction from FIFA hovering over them, they could fall but seal their spots if they defeat Nigeria in Bloemfontein. Tonight, let's end News Prime with a look at some of our big stories. Nigeria's fuel supply chain faces fresh tension as petroleum marketers threaten to halt their services nationwide beginning Tuesday. And in business, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, says Nigeria's bold economic reforms are beginning to yield results, with debt levels becoming more sustainable and investor confidence returning. On the foreign scene, in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, the M23 rebel group has recaptured the town of Shoa in North Kivu province just 1 day after it briefly fell under control of the Congolese army. And finally, in sports, at least 4 African countries are close to qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. And that's all we have for you here on Global Television's News Prime tonight. A quick reminder that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. As always, we encourage you to follow, interact, and subscribe across social media platforms using the handle at Global TV NG, as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. On behalf of my colleagues who have made this news broadcast possible, I am Uyi Agmofwegbe saying a big thank you to you for watching and have a pleasant night.